Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking the video and subscribing to the channel are free and easy for you, and they help me out a lot. If you want to go further with your support, Patreon and YouTube membership offer access to the BoshNRoll Discord community, early access to lists, written content, things like that. You can have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use YouTube membership, you also get sweet badges and emotes integrated here into YouTube. You can support the channel while you shop at tcgplayer.com by using my affiliate link in the video description, and you can play any deck anytime by using a cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. If you want to wear your support, check out the merch store. And of course, thanks for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome to another BoshNRoll Legacy video. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Francis York Morgan, I have been given a dealer's choice to play a good deck in Legacy. That's basically what it was. It was like play one of Legacy's top decks, up to you, outside of those parameters. And I'm going to use this to explore something that's really exciting that came out last week, probably 2 weeks ago by the time you all see this. 16-year-old Magic Online Zoomer phenom Izzet Bullwinkkle had some thoughts about the construction of Izzet Delver. It's his pinned tweet if you want to go check that out, at Bullwinkkle with 2Ks 6705. I'll have the links to this thing in the video description. Here's his article. It's basically a 4-page Google Doc with his thoughts about the construction of Delver and how he thinks it could do better. Basically, the TLDR is Delver's trying to do two things. There's hands like this one. Let me see if I can make this bigger for you. There we go. Hands like this one, where it's like Delver, DRC, Daze, Wasteland, and you're hyper aggressive. There's hands like this one, where the plan is stay alive, answer some stuff, cast Expressive Iteration, and pull ahead. Delver also is running 4 Wastelands and a Mystic Sanctuary right now, which kind of pull each other in different directions. And if you get a little bit of A and a little bit of B, instead of a clean A or a clean B, the deck is kind of confused. His next position, that the sideboard could be constructed better. If we're looking at cards where there's the Wasteland half of the deck and the Mystic Sanctuary half of the deck, and the sideboard had a bunch of cards in it that were good with one plan or the other, but not both. So he has updated the sideboard to just have only bangers, and at the end he produced a deck list. Let's talk about that back on Magic Online. To lessen the Mystic Sanctuary Wasteland dichotomy, he's basically cut most of the cards that are good with specifically Wasteland Daze plans, which includes Delver of Secrets, the biggest one of all. That's the giant glaring missing piece in this version of the deck. And without that, cards like Wasteland and Daze get worse. There are 3 of each in this list instead of 4. And this list I pulled, Isaac's article is about a week and a half old at this point, and the list I pulled was 6-0 from the recent Legacy Challenge. Isaac's original list had 4 Bauble, 2 Wasteland. This list has 3 and 3. We'll see if that comes up, if that matters specifically, but that is a small change from Isaac's original list. But the point is, Delver is out, so are the cards that directly support Delver. Daze is still good because it keeps opponents honest, and because we're all the way in on being a Mystic Sanctuary deck now. Daze resetting Mystic Sanctuary in the late game is completely bonkers. Daze is never dead in this build of the deck, even if it's not countering spells. Leaning in on Dragon's Rage Channeler means you get Predict. Predict, let me tell you about this combo if you're not familiar. Dragon's Rage Channeler lets you look at and manipulate the top card of your deck whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, or non-creature spell. Predict is a non-creature spell that cares about the top card of your deck. When you have DRC in play, Predict is always 2 mana, mill 1, draw 2. And that's a really powerful effect. It's basically Expressive Iteration number 5 and 6. And to cover up the fact that Predict isn't that great if you don't have DRC, that's where all these Mishra's Baubles come from. To go with your Ponder, Brainstorm, you can frequently know what the top card of your deck is. Like I said, no Delver in this deck. Dragon's Rage Channeler at the bottom, Murktide Regent at the top, extra removal, extra Pyroblast in the main, Snapcaster Mage splitting the difference. The only thing sicker than Predict is Snapcastering Predict after you've already predicted once. This is just kind of like Izzet Miracles if you were playing in the post Sensei's Top Miracle era. Predict was a really popular card getting play at the time. And this build is not going to cheese anyone, but it's not going to get squeezed out by anyone either. This is a extremely potent card advantage machine. Talking about the sideboard business, this is what Izzet was talking about with only Insano cards. It's pretty common in Delver that you see like 10 to 15 different sideboard cards because you see so many cards with your DRCs and cantrips and all of that, that you can have a good card, like one good card for every matchup, and you'll be pretty good at finding it. Izzet's like, nah, forget that. We're going to have 2 backbreaking game-ending cards for every matchup, and we're just going to find them all the time. 2 counterbalance for Delver mirrors and such, probably good against combo too. Force Negation is the only one of for generic surviving turn 0 situations. 2 Submerge for Meryl Age, 2 Surgicals for Graveyard decks, 2 Meltdowns for 8 cast, 2 Price of Progress for lands and 4 color, 2 more Pyroblasts for the Delver Mirror, and 2 End the Festivities for the Elves, Death and Taxes, Delver Mirrors, whatever. Just 2 of all of the most potent cards rather than goofing around with stuff on the fringes. Coming back to the theory of this main deck, this is a very common thing that has happened historically in Magic. When there is a very obvious best deck that is something that's low to the ground, a solution in that metagame is to build that deck, but slightly bigger and slower and a little more resilient. Back in the Miracle Grow days, that was a Simic deck to start, and the solution to Simic Miracle Grow was Bant Miracle Grow with Swords to Plowshares in it. The solution to Treasure Cruise Delver was Treasure Cruise Stoneblade. You just got a little bigger, added some good removal. If we compare this to the Pauper format, there are lessons learned years ago over there. Izzet Scred remains to be, actually, one of Pauper's best decks, and that was a Delver deck for a very long time. And I'm not going to take all the credit for this, but I did, when I got into Pauper, identify that Delver was the weakest card in that deck. I was boarding it out in a lot of matchups for more interaction, and then I realized that this isn't actually a Delver deck. It's a control deck, and the fact that you have this high rate creature that you can play doesn't mean that you should. And I cut Delver from the legacy, or the Pauper Delver shell, and it's never been back. Daze was also banned in that format along the timeline, so that does hurt Delver quite a bit, but we were already cutting Delver before Daze got the axe. Turns out, in the context of that format, it was better to just make the game go long than try to cheese ever. Another current example that I'll take no credit for is the modern format. Izzet Murktide is a defining deck in that format. Delver of Secrets is legal in that format. That deck plays plenty of spells that can flip Delver, but Delver is not in that deck. It runs contrary to that deck's plan. It doesn't hit hard enough to be in that deck. It's a bad top deck in the mid game. All of those things, like that deck is built to get a Murktide Regent into play quickly and with the ability to protect it, and then that Murktide Regent will win the game. And that is what's going on here. We have a lot of historical precedents for this to make sense. And I don't know how much of that historical precedence Izzet had when he wrote this, because he's 16 years old. He didn't live through all this. I did. I remember this shit the first time around. But it's really cool that whether he had the historical perspective or just figured it out for himself, either way, circling back in a solved metagame to find something new that can compete with the main problem in that solved metagame and compete with the solutions to the problem. Like, if we assume Izzet Delver is S tier, like that is the format and everything needs to revolve around it. If you can go bigger than Delver in your Izzet shell and get most of the same cards, but your sideboard is full of absolute fury against the decks that are good against Delver, and your deck goes a little bigger in a way that might throw off an opponent who expects to play a game plan against Delver, but the play patterns are different. This could be just the nuclear bomb that cracks the whole thing open. I'm giving a lot of praise to a deck that I've played 0 matches with, but we're about to change that. Let's see if it's all true. We are not really going to get cheese games. I mean, Dragon's Rage Channeler can still get in, but we're not going to really see those like Delver games. We're going to see a lot of slow control games. This is going to look like Pauper Fairies, basically, but with legacy cards. And I love Pauper Fairies, so I'm looking forward to this. Francis York Morgan, thanks for asking me to do this. Isaac Bullwinkkle, thanks for the idea, the list, all that. Let's jump in. I am on the play in round 1, and I'm going to keep this hand. This is almost exactly the sample hand in the Bullwinkkle doc about what a Mystic Sanctuary hand looks like and how it would look bad in a Delver deck, but looks great in this mid-rangey control deck thing that we're playing instead. My opponent just said it's their first time playing Magic Online, and last round they played against Arkin, who is a legacy streamer, and now they're playing against me. Good luck over there. Straight into the Shark Tank. There might be an argument to lead on Steam Vents, but probably not. There's enough busted shit in Legacy. Okay, we got a Changeling Outcast, Ninjas. Opponent's got some class and style over there. Really glad I kept a hand with 2 Lightning Bolts now. Guess I should wait till the end step, in case they have like an Ornithopter that they would be sandbagging, but you wouldn't do that because you could connect with 2 Ninjas off Yuriko otherwise. Snapcaster Mage. I can do a blind predict, or I can play my Steam Vents tapped and just wait. I'm going to do that. There's enough enablers in this deck that I don't really want to do any blind predicting if I can avoid it. Thoughtseize, boo. Alright. Have a look-see. It's cool that Snapcaster Mage is a Lightning Bolt, even if they take Lightning Bolt. And keeping the early pressure off against Ninjas is always the first order of business. I took another Lightning Bolt. Thoppy. That must have been the top deck for the turn, because it would have been in play if they had it already. Retrofitter. Do I need to force that? I think I do. Yikes. Okay. Don't like that, but I'm going to lose to that card. Oh no, they have the force back. I'm in trouble. Okay. They have 1 card in hand to my about to be 3. But they have a 4/4 in play. Come on, Murktide Regent. Let's shut it down. Ugly. They didn't just make the 4/4 immediately. That's exciting. Probably means they're going to try to ninja me, but I can Lightning Bolt Yuriko or the other one. Go ahead. I'll kill the ninja since I can't kill the Ornithopter anyway. Alright, just nothing. JK. Alright, DRC. What's up? Yeah, you know me. Now Lightning Bolt comes with their Surveil. Unfortunate I pitched that predict. Making a servo. Oh shit! I clicked through it! I was just busy narrating and just missed my opportunity to kill Ornithopter. Whoops. Alright. Still not losing to a ninja here. Yeah, that was pretty bad though. Don't think I cast any spells here. Looking for a predictor and EI. Oof. Alright, maybe they'll tap low again and give me a second chance that I don't deserve. Okay, they're making a servo again. It costs 3 to untap Retrofitter, so I'm gonna zap the Ornithopter now. Get Lightning Bolt. Zap the Ornithopter before it can become a 4/4. Put the island into the graveyard. And I can still kill a ninja with Pyroblast. If you have days, you have days. I'm not gonna start blocking now. Pretty good guess that one of these is a ninja. There's Infiltrator. 1 unknown card in hand. Please don't be days. God, am I getting stifled? What is this? Yuriko? Do you have 2 ninjas? Oh, Fatal Push. That's pretty strong. Okay. Can't get Mystic Sanctuary here because it doesn't cast Pyroblast, and there's not really cards that I want. Okay, take out the Infiltrator. Time to draw Murktide Regent or Expressive Iteration or something that just pulls this game into my favor. Brainstorm. We're live. Come on now. Hit one of the payoffs. Shit. That's not very good. Ponder can shuffle. Yes, easy shuffle. Another Ponder. Keep it running. Pyroblast, Dazed, Mishra's Bauble. These cards are all bad. And the Flooded Strand can get back a Ponder and keep next turn running. They are going to the air. I left my Snapcaster Mage on the ground in case they didn't flip into a Thopter, but they did. Didn't want to give them that one for free. Did not shuffle that Ponder. Okay, that was not a Yuriko. I'm happy with that. It was another 4/4. So they can go 4/4, untap 4/4. They have 8 power and toughness in play right now if they want it. Mystic Sanctuary, get my Ponder back. Find me the way out of this. Looking for EI, looking for Predict, looking for Murktide. Those are the cards. DRC, Unholy Heat. Unholy Heat is actually pretty good, but not good enough. I think I have to shuffle this. They're going to have 2 4/4s, and Force of Will is not good here. Shuffle up. Just bobble, fuck. I am going to bobble them immediately. Want to know what you're doing. Drawing Thoughtseize, fuck, okay. This is where I draw Murktide Regent. I decided to play 2 all the instants in my deck and not around the discard in theirs, and got punished. Oh no, that's exactly the card I don't want to get Thoughtseized. Oh! Okay. Well, this one lined up poorly along the entire run here. Not gonna block. Let's go. Let's rip out of this right now. Still win this game with a Murktide Regent. Oh, not with that. Well, that sucked. That may have literally come down to bobbling on my turn versus their turn, but I have so many instants in the deck and they have so few discard spells. Yeah, I don't like it. But that's why we play 3. Meltdown is coming in here. Clearing out Retrofitter Foundry matters a lot. Pyroblast does line up against all their ninjas. And I think that's it. And the Festivities can clear out servos and the unblockable ninja, the Changeling Outcast, but it doesn't hit Ornithopter or 4/4s or, yeah, not interested. Daze is pretty medium. In picking up your land in the mid-late game is good, but a lot of the stuff they do isn't spells. Like the Ninjutsu's not a spell, activating Retrofitter is not a spell. Do I want all 4 Pyroblast, I guess is the question. I could leave a Daze in and not have all 4 Pyros. Could also leave Force of Will and try to muscle through. I'm going to do it like this. Let's go. This hand is solid. I'm going to keep it. A Line of the Void. Do I have any answer to that? Am I just dead? Oh shit. I did not plan for that out. Well, I guess I have to beat down with Snapcaster Mage. Holy shit, that's bad. Did we find a giant weakness of this deck? Like no Brazen Borrower, nothing. Alright, we're getting nickel and dimey here. Volcanic Island, Mishra's Bauble. Gonna ponder. Another Snapcaster. I do want that, but later. Gonna bobble on their upkeep so I know what their card is, but they can't take it. Ornithopter, alright. Outcast and Ornithopter in the grip. Scary stuff. Drawing both of those cards now. Snapcaster and Pyroblast. A Shotgun Steam Vents. And take out the Changeling Outcast. That one is scarier to me than Ornithopter. And I can Pyroblast a Ninja if it comes in. Guess I could have waited until combat, let them Ninja so I can at least play around Daze. And pick off the Ninja guaranteed with Lightning Bolt. Hindsight 50-50. Hindsight is 50-50. That's definitely what that saying is, by the way. Okay, cool. Ninja answered. No Daze. Like, even if I did it the other way, even if they had Force, I could Pyroblast their Force and make sure the Ninja is answered. Land was a great draw here. I'm gonna ponder and then hold up Snapcaster Mage. Ooh. Meltdown's nice. I don't actually want all these lands. I could melt down the Thopter right now. I could Wasteland now and hope that they're stuck. Then I have to draw Meltdown, and if I'm behind, I actually think that's fine. Don't shuffle. Zap off this Wasteland, because I don't have a great answer to Ornithopter. I have the Meltdown, but I don't think I want to spend that yet. And then I can EI next turn. I know there's a land on top of the deck. Uh-oh. It's ninja time. Big oof. All right, Infiltrator's here. And I guess melting down the Ornithopter guarantees this doesn't happen. Maybe I'm planning for a late game that's not going to be there. I'm going to iterate. Looking for one of my many 1-mana removal spells. Okay, DRC in hand. Wasteland on the bottom. Exile Scalding Tarn. Play Scalding Tarn. Get my Channeler in. We're going to get another card off Infiltrator. Maybe 2 if Ornithopter can become another ninja. I feel this one's slipping away. The Leyline is insane against this build of the deck. It'll push, okay. At least a second ninja's not coming through. Next turn I can cast 2 Snapcaster Mages to trade with this thing, and then I'm basically out of win conditions. Ponder. Yeah, you really are just ice. Do a Leyline with this build. That's a hole. Okay, Lightning Bolt. Thank you. Do you have a counterspell? Nope. I can melt these jerks down. I'm just going to do that. I have fucked around and found out enough already. Now it's a 2-for-1. When it was a 1-for-1, I wasn't super into it. I'll take 2 cards off it. Outcast. I'm going to jam a Snapcaster here. Get to work. Snapcasters and Lightning Bolts are how I got to win this game. Hell yeah. Mystic Sanctuary, what's up? I could play Sanctuary as a possibility that someday I'm going to cast a Murktide Regent. Are there enough mana sources in the deck? 5, 6, 7, yes. And then there's 2 Wastelands left as well. There's a Sanctuary and pass. Basically, playing Sanctuary is deciding, do I want to cast Murktide someday, or maybe draw Brainstorm and turn that into a spell? And I'm not convinced either way. Oh god, another Infiltrator. And I know this one is backed up by the... Oop. Didn't replay the other Dingus. Probably have a Fatal Push. Lightning Bolt. Channeler, hello. Attack for my 4. I'm not winning a game where I double block this ninja. It's just not going to happen for me. Therefore, I will deploy my threats. Just keep jamming them in. I got to come up with damage. I can't beat cards at this point, so got to beat damage. Murderous Cut took out my DRC. Get another card off Infiltrator. I'm glad that Outcast wasn't in play. Now it is. On Lightning Bolt. Pyroblast. Another DRC, sure. Continue attacking with my creatures. They can chump with an Ornithopter, but okay, apparently we are there. I don't know what's in their hand. Like, maybe that makes perfect sense. Maybe it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I probably would have maximized for another ninja, but again, they know what's in their hand. I don't. Brainstorm can probably set up a lethal Yuriko. If they have Yuriko, I'm probably dead on board. Playing out this Sanctuary feels really bad at this point. Just drawing these spells, like I would have had to draw another land, and Murktide all in that order. And I think I should be playing to Brainstorm. I think Murktide should also be a card I'm brainstorming away, and this Sanctuary should not be in play. That was not well conceived. Now if I draw Brainstorm, it's not going to be able to come up with 2 good cards, just 1. Here comes 3 damage. I am not going to chump block. And if they have Yuriko, I'm dead anyway. Oof. Okay. So they're going to get 4 cards in hand and deal damage to me equal to the casting cost of 2 of them. And they just set this up with a Brainstorm. So one of these cards is known. I have left 5 power in play, though, which, combined with Lightning Bolt, is lethal. I've done what I can. I'm at 2. Moment of truth. Force Will Snuff out. All right. Yep. Smushed there. Yeah, game 1 was really just, I didn't find an engine card. We were sort of just kind of slapping at each other with one hand for a while, and I couldn't break it open, and Retrofitter Foundry dominated the game. Game 2, this Leyline was absolutely brutal. There's nothing to do about that. If these Snapcasters were casting spells, if this Mystic Sanctuary was buying stuff back, like, I'm never losing, but great sideboard decision here, and the list just can't answer it. GG's. I'm on the draw for round 2. Look at this hand. My god. Do you like cards? Because this hand's full of them. Wow. Ponder draws the first card, and then you draw the second card on your following turn, and then on turn 3 you can predict the bottom card of the ponder away. Like, this is like the full Miracle, old Miracle's bread and butter start. You're just pulling ahead on cards immediately. Hope we're not playing against Reanimator. Like, give me a chance to execute on this shenanigans. Okay, maybe the plan changed. Yeah, you know me. DRC's coming in. This makes the predicts supercharged. Just whenever I feel like it, I could fire them off and draw 2 cards. I'm not really worried about Wasteland because I have DRC plus Ponder anyway. Like, it's a pretty good setup. Predict is like pretty solid against Doomsday too. Like, if that's what we're playing against, if they make a pass pile, like, I can predict their Doomsday pile and put their cards in the graveyard instead of winning the game. Uh-oh, that's not what this is. Are we Garrus's Control? Are we Reanimator? Reanimator it is. Ruh-roh. Maybe they'll take a turn off respecting Force of Will. Just Thoughtseize pass. I'm not even mad about that. Unmask and Exhume. If they discarded Unmask... Oh, but no creature. Cool. Alright, they're just shipping it over. Alright, I needed that reprieve, and I will take it. Found a Force of Will. Hell yeah. I am going to attack for 1, hold up my Force of Will and my Predict. I could Ponder twice, but I think Predict is better. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. I'm willing to believe I'm crazy. I'll force a flashback looting here if that's what they go with. Lotus Petal. Okay. Recasting Grief. Thoughtseize. Targeting me. Okay. I can afford to force this. I'm going to pitch one of the Ponders. Lightning Bolt into the graveyard. Counter the Thoughtseize. I'm going to predict myself in response to this. I'd still like to counter it if I can, and they're currently exposed to Daze. Wasteland on top. And then predict, we'll name Wasteland. And I draw 2 cards. Didn't hit. Alright. We're going to get to do their thing here. They've used their land drop already. Pyroblast pretty bad in this matchup. 2 Grizzlebrands have been found. I would like to find some more interaction. I have to use my Ponders now. Unfortunately into the graveyard with that. Need Force of Wills. Yikes. A shuffle. Ponder again. Graveyard. Well, I've looked at my entire deck this turn. It's not going to be enough. Shuffle. Bad news, everyone. And this deck beat a Resolved Grizzlebrand. Maybe I can go bigger with, like, double Murktide. I don't know. It's not good. They're unmasking me. If they take the Murktide, I get it back. If they Exhume, Snapcast, like, I don't even know what they're worried about here. None of these cards are good. Probably Brainstorm is the best card here. So if their Reanimate spell is not Exhume, then taking Murktide makes a lot of sense, because that's the thing that can actually hang with a Grizzlebrand. Yeah, they should take Murktide. And they agreed, which also gives me Delirium, which means my DRC has to just ram into Grizzlebrand. Animate Dead gives them all their life total to work with. Alright, let's draw a Murktide Regent. Come on, Murktide! Not mad about Brainstorm. Okay, Brainstorm. I'm looking for Murktide. Unholy Heat. Okay. I put that on top. I might just have to wade through this. I'll leave it there. Brainstorm. Force of Will. Fuck yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put back Pyroblast and Lightning Bolt, or other order. Lightning Bolt, Pyroblast, or I need to keep Lightning Bolt. I can Bolt and Heat this Grizzlebrand. Okay, alright. Figured it out. I'm gonna put back Pyroblast and Predict. And then Heat the Grizzlebrand, and then Bolt the Grizzlebrand. And then attack for 3, and have Force back up. You get to draw a bunch of cards, but I'm coming in there. And I'm gonna let this Surveil resolve, getting Pyroblast out of my deck. Or, whoops. I did that backwards. I'm so fucking smart. Now I'm gonna shuffle away the Pyroblast in my deck, so I can draw it later, and then cast Lightning Bolt. I stacked those backwards. I would like to make it clear that I don't really have illusions about beating the 7 cards they're about to draw, but I'm gonna try. If they draw 14, they lose on the spot, so I like that. Do the first 7. Hey, Motobug, put it in the graveyard. Rewarded. Okay, I attack you down to 7, so you can't reanimate. If you exhume, I get a Murktide Regent. It starts small, but another one makes it big quickly. Can't activate Grizzlebrand again regardless. Could probably entomb for an Archon. That would I would have a hard time beating that. 9's a lot of cards, but I'm here. I'm playing this. We're doing the thing. How about Unholy Heat, though? That was a nice one. Big oof. They're going to 4, at least. Snapcaster Lightning Bolt is a line. And I'm not going to counter this because I want to... Oh, they didn't even take the Force of Will. That's what I like to see. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they're just taking my whole hand. Okay. They're probably going to take the other Snapcaster here. Yeah, all right. That was well played. That's the raw power of drawing 7, by the way. That's why I thought what I was talking about when I said we're still not ahead here. Still in trouble. And, of course, it's Animate Dead. Murktide Regent still does the thing. Come on, Murktide. Murktide! Shit. All right, now I'm dead. If I attack, they gain 7, and yeah, all right. Close one, but not enough. Surgical Extractions come in. Force of Negation comes in. Pyroblast coming out. We saw a blue land that has to be in there for a reason. Probably like sideboard show and tells or something, but I'm not going to leave in Pyroblast for that. Counterbalance is kind of interesting. Let's see if there's room for it. A Lightning Bolt is aggressively medium here. Winning a game through burst damage is nice to be able to do, like Bolt, Snap, Bolt is a whole thing. But I think I want all my real interaction first. Okay, let's do it. On the play with DRC, Double Daze, Ponder. I'm going to keep this. I would not keep this hand on the draw, but I'm in. Volcanic Island, DRC, hold up Daze, and in we go. Opponent's on 6. It's cool that I have Double Daze, so I'm not even like worried about Unmask. I will Daze a Thoughtseize. I'll Daze a Dark Ritual too. Passing the turn, that's a deal. Land? Lightning Bolt, okay. I'll Ponder first, try to find my land. Second DRC in the bin. Wow. Well, it's not pretty, but I'll take the Surgical Extraction. Not going to shuffle. Attack for 1. They know my hand is 6 spells now, and I didn't shuffle my Ponder, so they know they're good spells. Another land go. Surprising. Snapcaster is my top card with Expressive Iteration under it. I can bolt to... I could have bolted to clear the Snapcaster. I'm not going to do that, though. I'm probably going to bolt to clear the EI, unless I end up dazing. But between Bolt, Daze, Surgical, I'm likely to cast spells this turn. I could float blue, alternate cast Surgical, daze my own Surgical, pick up my land, and have another blue, and cast Murktide, but I don't think we're there. And this will give me Delirium, another Murktide. Well, if my opponent doesn't want to do anything, I am attacking with a 3/3 in the meantime. This hand is actually insanely soft to basically anything. Like, never unlocking the second Daze. If they go like Thoughtseize, Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, I just can't interact with that. They're passing the turn again. Going to clean up. Beating me a Grizzlebrand. I am going to hit this now, because that's the best card, and this gives me an extra Surveil. I actually am going to keep that. Grizzlebrand. They have Liliana the Last Hope, 3 reanimate spells, 2 lands, and Unmask. And sideboard, there are show and tells in here. As expected, 2 Lily the Last Hopes and a Grave Titan, and 3 Archon of Cruelty. Okay. Alright, they have basically no path forward in this game. If they top deck a monster, they can unmask themselves and try to reanimate the monster. Found my land here, though. I can snap Surgical, I can predict. I can hard cast Daze and also alt cast Daze. Yeah, finding that second land feels good. Unmask targeting me. I will respond with nothing. Resolves. They could try to animate my Murktide Regent. That's a play. I could have responded with Snapcaster or targeted Surgical and just waited for them to take an action. One of the Dazes. Interesting. And pass the turn. Okay. I'm going to predict myself in the end step. Draw a million cards. Oh no. Well, put it on top. I lose it either way, so I'm going to name Surgical here. Dang, just drawing 2 cards, too good. Still haven't found a land. Mishra's Bauble. Unholy Heat on top of my deck. I don't think I need that. We'll put you to 5. Brainstorm, I think, is actually fine. It sees 4 cards. Any blue source does the thing. I'm going for it. To the graveyard with that one. Found a blue source, okay. That was scary. I'm going to put back the 2 Murktides. I can put back Counterbalance, but I want to cast that card next turn. Yeah, I'll put back the 2 Murktides. And as well Bauble, Lotus Petal. I guess if I don't Bauble, then I don't have a Murktide for them to take. Lotus Petal's not a helpful card based on what I know about their hand. I know about land, Lotus Petal, Reanimate, 2 Animate Deads. Oh, and the Liliana, right. Which doesn't really matter here. I am not going to fight over this. It does make the clock significantly shorter. They can pay for days anyway. Yeah, whatever. Enjoy that. Makes my homie smaller. I can brainstorm now for velocity. I think I want to do that. Mill one of these Murktides. Graveyard. Play some lands. All right. EI and Flooded Strand. Then I can attack for 1. I'm going face. Face is the place. And then I can Snap Bolt. Don't even need this Murktide. Do I want to Snap Bolt? Let me Bauble first. Trying to think of what they could do to punish that. I don't think there's anything. Already looked at their whole deck. Bauble you. Archon of Cruelty coming off the top. Okay, Snap Bolt. It's time. I should not have tapped my Wasteland for this. If they cast a spell with Lotus Petal, I could have wasted the Scalding Tarn to make sure Daze was on. I don't think it's going to matter, but I should have tapped my colored sources to do that. Okay, let's tempoed him out. I don't think anything changes. I'm not going to bring in Pyroblast for show and tell. I got counter spells in my deck already, lots of them. Unholy Heat does kill Archon straight up. I think Bauble is better than Pyroblast. Like, I could cut 1 Bauble for a Pyroblast and just give myself that layer of protection. It's just a bad card the rest of the time. Alright, I changed my mind. I'm into it. This deck sees so many cards. Maybe the Lightning Bolt's better to cut than Bauble, but having 1 Lightning Bolt is nice. Like, it did do a bunch of damage that game. On the draw here, no interaction on turn 1. I'm gonna mulligan this. A lot of the times Reanimator does slow down post board, like they don't keep turn 1 hands, they keep disruptive hands, and they give you time to sculpt, but this hand really doesn't do anything. Oh god. And here's the opposite side, where I have turn 0 interaction. This hand straight up loses to a slow hand that's just like land, Thoughtseize, land, Entomb, Reanimate. I guess I'm going to 5 here. I would probably keep a 0 lander if it had Surgical and Force Blue card, but not like this. Counterbalance might be bad on the draw too. Opponent kept 6. I'm going to have to mull this one. Oh god, it is not getting better. I do like the Brainstorm and the Daze though. Alright, I'm going to send... They have Lotus Petals and basics. Wasteland could keep the Daze live for longer, but alright. Don't love this. Wish I would have kept the 7 now that we see that the 5 is basically the 7. Hopefully they give me some breathing room to set up, live in fear, and I'm able to punish it. Ooh, discarded Animate and Dark Ritual. We're either sculpting a show and tell hand, or this mulligan is not panning out. That's interesting. Oh, Force of Will, we're doing it. Okay, Force and Daze now against this opponent who was unable to set up a monster on turn 1. Lotus Petal, oh my god, please flashback Faithless Looting. Suspended a Profane Tutor. Now we're cooking. I like that. I like that even more. I can brainstorm into the DRC, but I'd rather just get DRC and start shredding. Profane Tutor. If that was in the deck when I surgicaled them last game, I didn't notice. I just wasn't looking for that one. I think I'm going to end step Brainstorm. If nothing else happens, just the velocity of that in this deck with getting the channeler roll in, all of that matters to me. Graveyard for that extra land. On land, Unholy Heat. I can ponder away one of these. Do I need a third land? Snap Heat will eventually be good. I don't really want to play a game where my opponent has a monster in play, so I'm going to mill the Unholy Heat off of Ponder and then resolve the rest of Ponder. Graveyard. I'd like another layer of protection, because this Profane Tutor will do whatever my opponent needs it to do. That's literally what these cards do. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright. I'm going to leave Mystic Sanctuary on the bottom, Lightning Bolt on top, Counterbalance. I'm going to play Counterbalance, mill the Lightning Bolt, and then my top card will be a 0, which counters Profane Tutor. Holy shit. Okay. Do not shuffle this library. We'll Counterbalance. Put Lightning Bolt into the graveyard. And attack for 1. Force blue card Daze up. Counterbalance is going to get this Profane Tutor for free. Mystic Sanctuary can rebuy whatever I need it to next turn. Would you like to reveal for Counterbalance? Yes. Put that right in the graveyard. Ooh. Saw it coming. Quite literally. That was awesome. I haven't triggered a Counterbalance in a very long time. Fasten the turn. Hell yeah. I'm going to Mystic Sanctuary Ponder to the top of my deck. I am excited about that card. It also sets up Mystic Sanctuary to counter any 1-drops that might be put on the stack this turn cycle, including the Faithless Looting in their graveyard or Entomb that may or may not be in their hand. Please flashback Looting. Just fire it in. What could go wrong? They're cracking a fetch land. If they have Unmask, Show and Tell, Monster, I could get got here. Show and Tell. Okay. I can Force of Will this. Guess that's just got to be the play, right? Force Pitching Daze. Force Pitching Daze. Leave Ponder on top, because that can counter any Pyroblasts or anything that might try to fight me here. There's the first Show and Tell. How many of these are we playing? I know there are 3 in the deck. Okay, leave that on top. Solve Ponder. Well, there's Pyroblast. I'm going to... This is kind of tricky, because Force of Will hits most things. Alright. Not going to shuffle the library. It's just going to put Force of Will in my hand. Pyroblast is on top. Hope they don't jam another Show and Tell here. It's flashback Faithless Looting. Give it to me. 2, 3, 4, 5. Not quite Grave Titan. Liliana does play here. We're just casting Grief. That's kind of annoying. But I can Snapcaster Lightning Bolt to kill Grief. Do I even want to do that? I could Snapcaster Brainstorm, see what happens. Yeah, I think I like that best. Snapcaster. I don't think there's any 4s in my deck to counter with here. But I am going to target Brainstorm. Probably going to mill this Pyroblast. Even though it is a powerful tool against the Show and Tells, which I am a little bit worried about. Pyroblast into the graveyard, drawing Steam Vents and 2 mystery cards. Okay. Guess I'll put back the 2 cards that they can't take with Grief. I could hold up Force for a turn, shuffle them away. Slam Murktide Regent. Alright, I like slamming Murktide. Okay. Gonna reveal nothing for Counterbalance. Grief resolves, takes nothing. They got 2 cards left in hand over there. It's frightening business. Maybe they'll cast a 7-drop right now. Just jam Chancellor the Annex onto this deck. Somehow. Draw Murktide for turn. I'm going to attack with Snapcaster. Extremely okay trading those off. And Murktide Regent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I eat the whole shit, I get the biggest possible. And I think that's where I want to go. Rather than try to scrap for Delirium. If I draw spells, I can start shredding for Delirium anyway. My top card's Force of Will for counterbalance. And I have a shuffle effect if I need to YOLO reveal. I don't think they have any 5-drops I need to worry about. Flashing back looting. I'm not going to respond to that with the fetch. I want to make them come up with something first, because if they just don't present a threat this turn and I can draw Force of Will, that's great. If I shuffle, reveal something irrelevant, and they just jam right now, then they'll know the coast is clear. So I want to keep them guessing. They're also under 4 minutes on their clock, which tells you how long I've been sitting here while they try to figure this out. It's been a long time. Looks like they got something here. All right. Gotta go for the fetch now. Predict, EI, all of those things revealed. Will counter animate dead. All right, come on, deck. Blind counterbalance. Let's go. Brainstorm on top. Okay, not the worst. Not happy about it. Or not like happy that this thing resolved, but could be worse. I'm gonna sack the Snapcaster Mage. Discard Steam Vents. I just want the selection of DRC available. If they attack with Grief, they can eat DRC. Like, they trade Grief for Dragon's Rage Channeler, basically, and then Archon is free to eat, so I actually can't block Grief if they attack here. Let's see if they see that. They figured it out. Disappointing. I hate when my opponents play right. Okay, the Unholy Heat is in exile, unfortunately. I also have to be careful with the Dragon's Rage Channeler, because if it attacks, if it has to attack and I can't remove Archon, I lose. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I guess I'm dead anyway. And my Unholy Heat's in exile. I need to come up with another creature, is what needs to happen. Or I need a removal spell? What am I even drawing to here? Yeah, I might have missed the boat. My 1 Bolt in the deck and my 1 Unholy Heat in the deck are both in exile. A second Murktide Regent is probably what I actually need. Okay, I'm going to attack with the first Murktide Regent, and then I'm going to cast spells in second main. I guess I could have left back DRC and just blocked the Archon. Oh yeah, that's probably better. Okay, let's high velocity time. Murktide Regent, save me please. Okay. Put on top of the library. Yes. Brainstorm. Oh. Put back the 2 iterations. Put back these 2 iterations. Oh, no. Yes. Put back iteration Murktide. Yeah, if I put back iteration and Murktide, I get to do 2 things. I could just cast Murktide this turn. But if I iterate into Murktide, it's 1 point bigger. Does that matter? I also see more cards. Do I have to chump block with this thing anyway? Yeah, this is chump blocking anyway, so I might as well just cast it and go for the biggest possible iteration next turn. Okay, yeah, I don't need cards in my hand. But yeah, put back the 2 EIs. Murktide. I think I want all of my... Yeah, or Delirium doesn't matter. Yeah, Delirium doesn't matter. I'll make my existing Murktide 1 point bigger and play this one. This one has to chump block Archon. The trigger eats DRC. I can't block Grief. Yeah, there's a lot of ways I could lose this game. I have a 2 on top for counterbalance. It's getting serious. What do I even need to hit? It's like the 3rd Murktide Regent. Even that's not pretty. Trigger kills Channeler. Exactly lethal with these attackers. Grief has Menace, so I have to block the big one. Cast a 2-drop. Cast a 2-drop. Give me something here. No, this is a 3-drop. Shit. Do they have another Archon? They must. The Grizzlebrands... Or, no, I exiled the Grizzlebrands last game. Oh, there could be anything in here. Shit. A7. A7. Oh, we're fucked. Okay, so put 1, 2, 3, 4. Is my basic still in my deck? My basic is still in my deck. Okay. Oh. Expressive Iteration in my hand, Wasteland on the bottom, exile Flooded Strand, play Flooded Strand. There is a basic in here somewhere. Red, blue, Murktide Regent, and Daze. Okay. Put Surgical in my hand. It doesn't matter. It's all bad. Put Daze in my hand, Surgical on the bottom, exile Murktide Regent, pass Murktide Regent, throws the other one, but Grizzlebrand has lifelink. But they do have to block. I'm actually not dead here. They could pay 7, block, gain the 7 back. Then I'm probably dead to whatever's going on in there. Yeah, I can't. Oh, wait, no, the trigger plus the grief. No, I am dead. Yeah, never mind. If they can execute this turn in a minute or less, I lose. All right, they figured out how to go to combat. All right, that was a mess. I feel like, where did I mess that up? I felt like that game was mine to lose, and I lost it. Like, what happened there? I left the shields down for a turn, and that was the turn where they got Archon into play. That's what happened there. I let them resolve the Faithless looting, hoping that I would have another turn to operate. Like, it's hard to examine that because there was such like a huge variance involved of like Force of Will on top of my deck. If I untap, the game is over. Or I could YOLO shuffle for counterbalance on the Faithless looting, which did end up revealing a 1-drop. But like if I reveal a 1, then looting's countered and they have nothing. If I reveal a 2, then it'll be hard to follow up. But if I reveal a land, they're going to know the coast is clear. Yeah, that turn where they snuck those 2 things through the counterbalance was really good. And Archon. This Grief, also insane too. Just taking their time hard casting Grief, which dealt 9 or 12 damage this game. That was a lot. I'm impressed. On to the next one. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. On the play in round 3 with a no-lander. Gonna mulligan. A 1-lander is much better than a no-lander. I'll keep this, and I think Snapcaster is the card I don't want in this hand. I'll see that one later when I'm ready for it. This could be a bobble myself situation. I can decide if I want to fetch or not, but knowing what's in their deck is also helpful. I don't need to make that decision right now. I could do it in their end step. Yeah, I'm just going to land Polluted, or land Mishra's Bauble and pass. I already have a piece of interaction, so I don't need to dig for one. When they show me what's in their deck, okay, Scalding Tarn, I don't actually know what's in their deck, but I know it's a blue one. Bauble myself, Force of Will, don't think I actually want that. Volcanic Island, another one, and another Daze, okay. We're cooking. The plan's coming together. Lightning Bolt, I'm gonna jam EI here. Let's go. Brainstorm in my hand. Mystic Sanctuary on the bottom, exile Wasteland, and play Wasteland. They're not currently susceptible to Wasteland, but I don't really like putting Mystic Sanctuary in yet. I'm not ready for that. The Wasteland trick is available. If they spend like 1 blue on something, I can Wasteland their fetch land in Daze in response to them fetching. A Grixis strategy. Are we Storm? Are we Grixis control? What are we doing here? I go to my turn, draw. Am I more worried about black or red? I'm going to hit the black, and then I'll brainstorm. Lands are nice. They are a blue deck. This pile of Pyroblast seems pretty good. I'll tuck the lightning bolts on top and decide if I want them as information emerges. I'm going to go for my steam vents here. Just get that thing out of the way. My Mystic Sanctuary is online here. I'm going to try to figure out what their deck is. Sudden Edict. Okay. Grixis control confirmed. I'm going to brainstorm. I got lots of Pyroblast to fight over a potential whatever the hell. Hull Breacher. Whatever they're doing. Lightning Bolt and feel like Daze is losing utility here. Put back Lightning Bolt and Daze. Fetch for Mystic Sanctuary. I'm gonna put the Expressive Iteration on top. I'll predict them naming Sudden Edict. Okay, I don't know what's on top of their deck anymore. That was tight. I'm gonna name Hidetsugu Consumes All. Or I haven't seen a Brainstorm or a Ponder yet. No, Ponder's a lot safer. Lightning Bolt, okay. Draw for Bauble, found a Force Will. All right. This is the first time that this whole thing is really executing. Not really under the gun at all. I'm completely okay pyroblasting Expressive Iterations in EI mirrors. And I have a Daze that can pick up my Sanctuary, reset my iteration. In we go. Another one. Do I want Island in the mix here? Yes, I do. Okay, so Murktide in my hand, Ponder on the bottom, Exile Island. Shout out to the Survivor fans out there. Exile Island. I'm going to think about how I'm going to cast this Murktide, because I want it out of bolt range, but I also know they play Sudden Edict, and the second Murktide can grow the first one. I'm going to make it medium size, just a 5/5. Force of Will. Counter target spell if it's blue. I will do that. They wouldn't force this if they had Sudden Edict, and they pitched their own Murktide. That's exciting. Another force. Pitching another force. I could just take my card advantage here. Like, this is a 4 for 2. And I have Ponder. Daze can pick up Mystic Sanctuary. Them having... Alright. I'm going to let them win this counter war. I'll take my time on this one. That may also indicate that I, air quotes, don't have a counterspell. If they just slam Jace right now into Daze. We're having a good time. Mystic Sanctuary. Okay. You got your own. Let's find another Murktide. Snapcaster's dope. Ponder. Their top card, I know right now. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Do not shuffle my library. Predict you. I'll name Expressive Iteration. They hardcast Force. I can Daze it. Expressive Iteration. Shadow Realm. Wasteland in here. Take them off black. And that looks like a pretty good turn cycle. I guess I can still Ponder. Not really losing anything there. And DRC, hell yeah. And in we go. I probably should have stacked the land on top of the EI, because if I do end up forcing or dazing this turn, which I'm not going to do, you can have your Lightning Bolt. If I had stacked this correctly, maybe I would fight over that, but nah, not like that. Ponder. Opponent's down to 2 cards in hand to my 4. They have 4 lands to my 5. They have 1 creature in play to my 0. Did not shuffle. Kept the basic swamp. Okay. Black mana back in business. Another iteration. 2 mana draw 2 is just so good. This deck has so many of them. Snapcaster in my hand. Flooded Strand on the bottom. Exile Scalding Tarn. Play a land. Pass. Don't need to be super worried about this Snapcaster Mage. I could just like snap Brainstorm here. I think that's fine. Snapcaster. Target Brainstorm. Block. Lead Underground Sea. 1 card left in their hand. I have Force of Will in mine. That's interesting. I could force this. I could Brainstorm in response and hide my good cards. I'm going to Brainstorm in response and hide my good cards. Jar, Murktide, Regent, and Snapcaster Mage, for the most part. Snapcaster, Murktide. Yeah, I want Murktide against this Hellbent opponent for sure. Snapcaster, Murktide. I could Daze this also, pick up the Mystic Sanctuary, which gives me a chance to still have Mystic Sanctuary in my hand, but if it gets hit, it's gone, where I could find another Daze to pick it back up. It resolves. Force and Lightning Bolt. Alright, not super worried about those ones. Murktide, Regent. At maximum size. I don't want to play this Flooded Strand. I have Brainstorm right now. That's a good one. Put back Flooded Strand, and is it time to finally give up on this Daze? I think so. Yeah, it's fine. Not worried about it. And I'm going to leave up Snapcaster. I can snap Pyroblast or Force of Will. I got options. Petty Theft. Okay. This is going to be a snap Pyroblast. And they've had enough. Okay, yeah, the slow grind. Just enough 2-mana 2/2s, and eventually you'll win the game. Or 2-mana draw 2s. Pyroblast looking pretty good here. I don't think I want Force of Negation. Or definitely don't want Force of Negation. I don't think I want Counterbalance. That almost certainly has Narset in it, so I want to respect Lightning Bolt a little bit, but Pyroblast is mostly an upgrade to Lightning Bolt. Daze, we saw Daze just rot that whole game. It doesn't mean that's always going to happen, but it definitely happened there. I cut a Bolt and a Daze for 2 Pyroblast going up to 4. Price of Progress could shut a game down. They showed me that they have some basics, but they also showed me they have a lot of non-basics. Do I think Price of Progress is better than Lightning Bolt? Better than Unholy Heat? All right, I'm actually going to shave Unholy Heat for a Price of Progress, because between the Pyroblasts and Lightning Bolts, I'll be able to pick off whatever creatures they come up with, or Planeswalkers. All their Planeswalkers are blue, unless they have Sorin, but hopefully I can pressure that other ways. And just having one pop in here, kind of fun. I'll have to be monitoring my own non-basic count under those circumstances, but I think it's worth having one. I'm going to keep this hand. Lands and spells. Ponder, okay. I have the powerful modern opening of Volcanic Island, Dragon's Rage Channeler, Mishra's Bauble, and then the legacy component of it of Days Backup. They didn't shuffle their Ponder. Merc Daddy, always happy to see you. Channeler, Bauble, Surveil, Force of Will into the graveyard. Yeah, that's not a card I want right now. Take a peek. They have Scalding Tarn coming. They led on Volcanic Island, so I'm not getting him to this turn, unless they play Urborger, Graven Cairns or something. Fatal Push, you got it. We ready for a turn 2 Murktide? With Daze Protection? Oh, baby. I know they have Scalding Tarn in their hand. Is the aggro Wasteland here worth pursuing? Yeah, I'm into it. Hit that, and get a Ponder. Another Wasteland, another Bauble, and Lightning Bolt. I don't think I want these cards. Shuffle them. DRC, okay. The flip side of basic lands in your 3-color control decks is A, they can't get Wastelanded, but B, they let Wasteland take you off colors, which otherwise is not a thing. I want a little more protection for my Murktide. They're just showing me Pyroblast, loud and clear, just lifting it in the air, saying, here it is. Do you see it? I cast a card that does not get Pyroblasted. Also, by having DRC in play, I'm also insulating against Edict. Storm resolves. Not sure I would have Pyroblasted that even if I could. Interesting question there. Brainstorm, Ponder. Still no red mana. They cracked their Scalding Tarn for Underground Sea and then naturally drew and played an Underground Sea. Pyroblast is not the problem here. Shuffled the Ponder. And Cling to Dust, targeting what? Force of Will, so that's a redraw. Yeah, sure. Not going to daze a card like that. I can get my Steam Vents now. I could Brainstorm in the end step, just Hyperfuel this Murktide Regent. I kind of like this end step Brainstorm. Oh, another one. Leave that on top. Don't have the mana for 2 of those this turn, but alright. Force of Will, feeling good. Put back Ponder and land. I'm going to draw one of these. I'm going to play the land next turn. I could put back Predict. Make that like a later problem. Or I could put back Daze. So Daze and Force together are pretty nice. I'm going to put back the second Murktide and the Predict. Might not even need the second Murktide, but I would like to have it around. I'm going to attack for 3 first to make sure I get a full size Delirium Crack here. Then Captain Mercs. There it is. Left a creature and Bauble in the graveyard. Cling to Dust on creature sucks. Like for them, not for me. I don't care. I'm into it actually. Maybe I'm supposed to Ponder here. Like if I Daze, Ponder, I might be able to cast the second Murktide next turn. Yeah, I'm gonna just try to hold on to Murktide. See if we can get away with it. Because Edict doesn't work right now because I have 2 creatures. They need to find red mana before they can Pyroblast. Into Turok. That's a good daze target. And I'm going to leave the second Murktide on top. Or they're just going to concede to that. Okay, so in our 3 matches so far, we saw the deck fold to a sideboard card that I didn't really have a plan for. And then we got outground by Reanimator. And part of that is because this deck doesn't hit as fast as traditional Delver. There are just fewer threats in this deck than in regular Delver. I like to think that with a lot of the same cards, a traditional Izzet Delver deck would have been able to pressure the Reanimator deck a lot more than we were able to, and they wouldn't have been able to find their out. But hard to say if we would have even played a game that long if the deck didn't have able to draw cards. But anyway, now that we're here in just a fair blue mirror, this felt pretty close to unlosable. Just the 2-mana draw 2s over and over and over, and consistent threats in Murktide and Snapcaster. Ugh. Yeah, this felt gross. This is what you play this deck for. On to the next one. On the draw in round 4, it's Hands a Heater. Keep it. Chalice on 0. My goodness. You must be setting up a Chalice on 1 also. I would generally do that in the other direction, but I mean, it's going to work here. And it's really good against my hand too. Disappointing. Wasteland. Wasteland. Tilt. Okay. My meltdowns are in the sideboard, but here we are. I'm going to just be firing spells into the Chalice because Murktide Regent. Okay. Get a Volcanic Island, Lightning Bolt you, another Lightning Bolt, and all right, I can Murktide next turn. Will probably be too late, but they do have 2 Ancient Tombs for mana over there. Depends on where we're going with all this. Karn, a little annoying, but okay. If this gets Ensnaring Bridge, I'm probably dead. Liquid Metal Coating. All right, I'm not super worried about that, actually. That will come too little too late. Spell Skite. All right. Lightning Bolt your Karn. That'll show you. Fetch for Volcanic Island. Brainstorm. Force of Will off the top. Force of Will off the top. Yeah. Okay. Here's a big Murktide. I have Force of Will in my hand. You're at 12. 2 cards in hand. Karn is active. I can start destroying my lands, but I don't care about that. Glimmer Post, shit. Alright, that takes a turn off the clock, but if they spend any mana at all, then they lose that turn again. Karn's making a wish for Ensnaring Bridge. Just gonna get Force of Willed. Okay, folks. Another force, no blue card to go with it. Base is the place here. Alright, you're at 5. How we doing this? They're going to 3 to make a construct. Construct is 6/6. Shadow Spear kills me. Damn. Alright. Make another construct. Forget about Shadow Spear. Make another construct. Oh, they went to 1 to make another construct. If they're getting Shadow Spear, they need to have another mana source. That's not Ancient Tomb. Oh, fuck yeah. We got the scoop. If there's a Shadow Spear in their deck, they didn't make a construct, they would have been able to win the game because they're attacking for 8 lifelink a turn to my 6 attacking 6 damage, and I can never do anything. Oh yeah. Murktide. All right, Price of Progress and Meltdown coming in here. Force of Negation looks like it's important as well. And the rest of these cards, no. Pyroblasts are coming out. All these 1-drops seem a little sus. Lightning Bolt can close a game against the Ancient Tomb deck. Like, being a tempo deck against Ancient Tomb is nice. I don't really love Daze on the draw here. Unholy Heat can kill a Karn, even if it pluses when it comes into play. Yeah, I think I need to count on the meltdowns and stuff to carry me. I could cut Unholy Heat and Lightning Bolt, leave 2 Dazes in. Maybe 1 Daze and all my Lightning Bolts. I'll try that. I want to keep them honest with the Dazes, but I think Meltdown unlocking my spells and Pop just ending a game are both really exciting propositions. I'll keep. Doesn't interact on turn 0 like I would hope, but does interact on turn 1, and Predict and Snapcaster, dodge, Chalice. Okay. They can name one of the fetch lands in my hand, which is a little annoying, but I have two different ones. They could name Bauble. Either way, they're removing a card, basically. This is basically Raven's Crime. They name Scalding Tarn, sure. I will play Flooded Strand then. They know they need to play around Daze now. Unfortunate. Drew it. This, by the way, folks, I have people in my comments once in a while who ask me, why are you playing Flooded Strands and Misty Rainforests in your Izzet deck? Shouldn't you just be playing 4 Scalding Tarns? And that is a perfectly reasonable thing to think if you don't know any better. But as soon as you think about it a little bit, cards like Sorcerous Spyglass are in the format. They're Pithing Needle. There's Alpine Moon. Not that I expect a lot of that action, but like there's a lot of reasons to split up your fetch lands, and we're living in a real life example right now. Like if I just played 4 Scalding Tarns, then this would be devastating. But instead, it's completely irrelevant. All right, Chalice on 1, whatever. Gonna draw for my turn. I can shuffle away Scalding Tarn, or I can predict Scalding Tarn, or I can wasteland them and commit to drawing the Scalding Tarn again. None of these are... I want to waste them. I really don't want that Scalding Tarn in my hand, though. Yeah, this is actually a really tricky turn. Okay, I'm going to go with cards are better than everything, and just mill my Scalding Tarn, draw 2 cards. Another Spyglass, huh? That can resolve... If they name Wasteland, I can still tap it for mana, which was my plan anyway. And they're still just wrecked to a meltdown. They did name Wasteland. All right. They really were all in there. Like the Cheese Wasteland would have paid off there. But I think I still have plenty of a plan moving forward. Predict myself in the end step. Name Scalding Tarn. And I picked up 2 Brainstorms. Not the most exciting, but all of it is in service of finding Meltdown. A Polluted Delta, and going to discard is the same as casting one of these things, so I will move to discard and drop one of the Brainstorms. And they got nothing going on over there. I like that. I'm going to Snapcaster just to start attacking. I know if I wait, I can like snap the Predict and get another card, but oh my god. You're spending 2 mana? Alright, Warping Whale, sure. Deal. Okay, I would prefer that to kill my Snapcaster than to counter my Expressive Iteration. Blue-red. EI. Ooh. Okay, Price of Progress in my hand. DRC on the bottom. Exile Lightning Bolt. And I'll fetch and cast Lightning Bolt to get it in my graveyard. I have way more non-basics in play than my opponent does, but they're tapping Ancient Tomb to cast their spells, and Daze can pick up one of my lands. If I get any creature in play to start poking damage, this will end quickly. I love Price of Progress. Just the art on this thing. I'm not even entirely sure what's going on here, but just looking at this card fills me with joy for a lot of reasons. Backup Chalice on 1. That doesn't matter. My out is Meltdown. Another Force. You love to see it. Just draw go back and forth between us here. This is a good time. How about a Murktide Regent? Force of that. I don't need to tap my mana because discarding Bolt, like we talked about, discarding Bolt is the same as having it in my hand. Or casting it and it getting countered. Do I want to discard the Bolt or the Channeler? I'm going to discard Channeler, actually. There's already enough spells for Murktide to be large and in charge. And if I draw Meltdown, I can just like bolt, pop. Snaring Bridge. That is not part of my plan. I could daze it just in case. I guess, yeah. Murktide Regent is in my deck. Let's use the daze. Ooh, Predict. 7 cards in my hand currently. Opponent's at 9. They don't know they're actually at 5. With authority. Shove that thing straight into the graveyard. All right. I'm going to predict them and name Cloud Post. We haven't seen one yet. Cloud Post. Forsaken Monument was the card. Okay. Gonna play my Scalding Tarn. This can get Mystic Sanctuary, which buys back Expressive Iteration. Or it can get Basic Island, and I can chill. Though I think getting back the EI is where I want to be. Just keep tapping lands. Alright, Meltdown doesn't care about that. Oh, Scalding Tarn, right. That's turned off. Alright, the Sorcerer's Spygast turned around and paid off. I can't actually get... Alright, now I can get Mystic Sanctuary. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I take 12 from my own pop. But if they tap Ancient Tomb one more time, they're just dead. Okay, you're a 5. Walking Ballista for X equals 2. Alright, here's the trick. I'm gonna crack Misty Rainforest, and in response, I'm gonna Price of Progress. Bang. Okay, that was easy. And they did a lot to slow me down, but my deck's not really trying to go fast. This is a matchup where not being actual Delver helped a lot. Chalice on 1 a lot less scary against a deck like this. Ensnaring Bridge also a lot less scary. Walking Ballista less scary too. And mostly they just got stuck on mana and killed themselves with their Ancient Tomb. I guess like one spell that did any damage that game. It was good enough. On to the final round. I'm on the play for round 5. Okay, 2 Dazes, another Force of Will. I kind of like the Force of Wills. I'm going to put this DRC in my hand, draw the Force of Will, and then I'm just going to try to slam a Murktide and coast to coast with the double force backup. Okay, not even Death and Taxes. Deal. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Let's go. Daze is the top card of my deck. I can decide if I want that in this end step. All right, I don't want another Daze. I can get the Steam Vents here. Probably jamming EI. Oh, not jamming EI. Though EI does see a lot of cards too. This is a tough choice. 2 raw cards. So if I cast Predict, I get 2 cards, period. If I cast Expressive Iteration, I get to see 4 cards, definitely get 1 of them, and probably get 2 of them. Yeah, I guess EI is better. Almost got booty blind by the fancy play. Alright, I'll leave that on top. I do want to make sure I hit my land drop. And wasn't going to be a problem. I'll put Lightning Bolt in my hand, Volk on the bottom, exile Flooded Strand, and then play Strand. If I Lightning Bolt my opponent, I have Delirium, but I'm not in a race like that. Not in a hurry. Most of these non-Death and Taxes Yorion decks are full of creatures. Bolt will find a home. I can Daze and Endurance next turn, which is the scariest thing I'm thinking of right now. Sylvan Library. Do I want to play against that card? I could just erase it. Erasing Library seems crazy, but having the double force to back up Murktide is pretty hot. Alright, I'm just going to Bolt to the face, because it fuels Murktide. I get card selection, it deals damage to them. This Bolt is worth 5. Daze into the graveyard. I just loaded up between the Bolt and the Daze. Wait, what did I miscount on? Oh, yep. There were 2 card types in the graveyard, not 3. I was not ready for Delirium, not at all. Okay, I'm going to predict myself now. Get paid for that. Hopefully it's a creature. On top, name Ponder. L1, draw 2. Back with Channeler. And I'm going to jam Murktide. Fortunately, the way this shook out, I'm down to only 1 force to protect the Murktide. Ugh. I may have botched this one a little bit. I'm willing to believe it. But I can Mystic Sanctuary to pick up Expressive Iteration. That one on top, and then jam Murktide Regent. I'm going all the way in. Fuck a Dragon's Rage Channeler. You'll get delirious again one day, little buddy. Alright, that was just Miri's Guile. They didn't actually take a card. Words to Plowshares. Gonna force that pitching the Daze. They're smart to do it now before I pick up the EI, because they know I want that, and I'm not gonna just shred it with DRC. I hope they force back. Nice. Counter target spell if it's blue. That one qualifies. Top, 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 top. How'd we do? Oh no, they have another. What are they doing now? Another plow. Interesting. Yeah, if you had a second plow, why did you Force of Negation 2-for-1 yourself? I guess if you expect more creatures coming, then it makes sense. All right. Iteration with double Surveil, Graveyard, Graveyard. I'm just binning everything. That gives me Delirium. And then Snapcaster Mage in my hand, Brainstorm on the bottom, exile Volcanic Island. Unfortunately, ran out of mana. If I didn't DRC first, then I would have been able to cast Brainstorm here. I would have seen fewer cards. I don't know. That feels close, but I probably did it wrong. Backing a fetch. What are they doing with their 5th mana? Your own Expressive Iteration. All right, I'm going to bet against that. But Snapcaster is just so good if I get to untap that I don't want to spend Force of Will on this. I would have Pyroblasted that, by the way. Teferi. Does this matter? Like, Teferi can bounce DRC, then I kill it with the other one. If I force this, if there's a bolt in my top cards, all right, I am going to fight over this one. I get 3 looks at Lightning Bolt. Oh, wow. They just don't even want to know. Deal. Yeah, Channeler does still have the tempo game in it. I want Pyroblast and Price of Progresses here. Submerge would have text, but I don't think I want that. I do want Daze. Unholy Heat. I feel like I'm going to be able to Pyroblast anything I could Unholy Heat. Maybe I don't need all 3 days, but shave one of those. You have a Force of Will, and I want my creatures. Lightning Bolt is in the maybe pile. Okay, I'll go down a Lightning Bolt, Unholy Heat, up the pops. This is probably an Uro deck. That's probably a safe bet, just given the colors that are in it. I could try to Pyroblast and pop my way through Uros, or I can bring in a Surgical. Okay, I'll bring in 1 Surgical. They're an 80-card deck. I'm a 60-card deck with tons of selection. Hopefully I can find my 1 Surgical before I lose to any of their Uros. I can keep this one. It's got a plan. And the plan is draw cards. Which is a plan I'm a fan of. Ponder. I don't know if these decks have Wasteland in them. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I'm just going to get my basic and be careful. My plan is to pop them anyway. All right, this is pretty reasonable. I'm going to take the Bauble them, get the information. Bauble draws Daze, and then I have Daze and Force. Happy to fight over a Sylvan Library here. Ooh, Timeless Dragon. Excellent card, big fan. Oh, if I waited a turn, I could have predicted them. I also resolved that Ponder so fast that I forgot what my card down is with Predict. Oh, it doesn't matter because Bauble drew through it. Okay, that's a play pattern error that I just zoomed through because I wasn't thinking about it. Saving your Bauble for when you can predict makes a lot of sense. I'm going to Brainstorm now. My hand is full of Clunk. There we go. I'm going to put back Lightning Bolt. Though if they have Ice Fang Coatl, that's annoying. Lightning Bolt and 1 of the lands. And I'm not going to play Dragon's Rage Channeler, though I can Daze a Teferi. No, I'm definitely playing Dragon's Rage Channeler. Never mind. My hand is fucking Daze in it. Cast your spell, dude. Delirious already. Thanks, Mishra's Bauble. Cycling Timeless Dragon. Timeless Dragon's kind of scary because you can't counter it. Eternalize is an activated ability, so next turn, if they come up with another white source, they'll have a 4/4 that I can't fight. Abundant Growth. Okay. They put that on their white source, so they actually do need a white source to eternalize. Not saying they're wrong, just saying that's the thing. Do I want to fight over this? I think I do. I'm going to force pitching Daze here. I have the Predict that can recoup these cards, and just pushing for damage is exciting. Though this thing has to attack into the Eternal Dragon, which maybe I made a mistake there. I'm going to predict myself. Holding up Pyroblast. Put on top. Name Scalding Tarn. Draw 2 more lands. And I'm going to attack. I'm going to hold up Pyroblast rather than Ponder here. If they spend the mana on Timeless Dragon, then I can Ponder my way into a Murktide Regent and try to get myself off Delirium. Snapcaster Mage, do you help? I have 2 sorceries, 3 instants in the graveyard. Yeah, that's not helpful right now. I'm gonna ponder. Looking for Murktide. That's a good card. I'm gonna graveyard it though. Need Murktide Regent here. Oh, Lightning Bolt. Snap Bolt is a 3 mana play. I do like the Wasteland. Don't shuffle the library. It has to attack. But Lightning Bolt can finish it off. Pretty good stuff. Doing this now because I do want to mill this. Cool. Wasteland's on top of my deck, but I can also Sanctuary EI to the top. I guess I don't want to Wasteland because I'm on Price of Progress as a win con. So if they have Endurance. Okay, I'm actually gonna untap and draw the Wasteland. There we go. Never mind. I'm gonna rebuy the Expressive Iteration in response here. Yes, put that on top. Then you can have your Endurance. Yeah, like we could have danced around that. If I just jam, then they get it. If I don't jam, then we get to play. Oh, do you have Predict in your deck? What's this shit? Cycling Beseiju. Bummer. That's actually really good. Okay, is this a May? That player may search through the library for a land card. Okay, I'm gonna decline. No. Oh, I guess floating mana doesn't matter because we're in my upkeep. But sure, I still think EI is better than a random land here. I'm good on lands. Okay, put EI in my hand. Force of Will on the bottom. Exile Wasteland. Play Wasteland. Hit your... I want to take you off double white. I can't take you off double green, so yeah, I'll hit the white. Isn't quite the game that I mapped out here. Endurance is still smaller than Murktide Regent if I can find one. It is not blue, though. Notably. Famously not a blue card. Oh, Life from the Loam. We're in trouble. Okay. I have plenty of lands in my deck. I'm not worried about Beseiju actually, like, killing me. Draw for turn. Wasteland is pretty sweet. Iteration. Let's go. Find me that Murktide. Oh, I got 2. 1 in hand. Wasteland on bottom. Exile Murktide Regent. Fetch. Murk Daddy. Here's this card. Getting Pyroblasted? Sure. Okay, we gotta start somewhere. Uh-oh. Here's this. Them having significantly more mana than me. Oh no, they can Uro immediately. I left my Pyroblast down. Maybe I should have waited a turn. Okay. They didn't turn around and jam Uro. I guess they're respecting days still. What's the path out of this game? Force of Will. Are you involved? Maybe. I can't play Murktide here anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I can't Murktide here anyway. So I am going to shuffle my library. Predict, huh? Do I know what's on top of their deck? No, I don't. I'm going to pass, and maybe they get greedy with Sylvan Library. Yeah, I don't really know what the path out of this one is. This Endurance, backed by Pyroblast, was really good. Getting a fetch here. Do what? Uro's right there. If nothing else is going on, there's always Uro. Ready to Pyroblast that. Mamma Jam. Or target spell if it's blue. Uro is blue, last I checked. The Loam is a pretty aggressive way to refire the Uro over and over again. Okay. Being at 6 makes Price of Progress pretty awkward. I predict myself. What card do I want to name? Brainstorm? There's a lot of those in the deck. Build a Flooded Strand. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No Beseiju's in their hand. Can leave Pyroblast in the graveyard for Snapcaster. I could leave Ponder in the graveyard for Snapcaster. I'm way behind on time, and there is going to be a game 3, it seems. Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Leaving Ponder in the graveyard. I can snap Ponder, which grows Murktide and also advances my board. Murktide ends up being the same size as if it had eaten Ponder. Enduranceing in response, sure. Murktide still grows here. Don't get to Ponder, which is powerful, don't get me wrong. Dredged Loam. Hit another Uro. Narset confirmed existing in this deck. Not that I had any doubt. Towards the Plowshares. Alright, well, I gained a bunch of life at least. The Pyroblast Uro here. A lot of cards in their graveyard. If they put me to 5... Alright, I'm gonna keep my Snapcaster back. On EI. Expressive Iteration, let's go! Dragon's Rage Channeler, not quite it. Beseiju this thing. Sure. There's a Steam Vents in my deck. Okay. I'm gonna play Channeler. I'm gonna attack for 2. My chance in this game is to price a progress into a draw. Any removal spell kills me here, but I needed to get those 2 points in with Snapcaster. Yeah, Teferi counts. Yep, Endurance carried that game. The surprise Pyroblast off the basic planes was really impressive as well. Submerge just got a lot better looking. That would have cleared the dragon, would clear Endurance. Lightning Bolt's still good. Pyroblast is worse than I want it to be here. There are blue spells in their deck, but there's also a lot of green and white spells in their deck. I just have all my Force of Wills in. Make sure my Murktide goes in and use my card advantage to keep up with the cards the Force will cost me. Could lose a Wasteland, but Wasteland's really good sometimes. Yeah, they have basics, and I'm playing to Price of Progress, but Wasteland can also cheese them sometimes. Real tricky. Unholy Heat can kill Endurance, so can Submerge. Well, Submerge temporarily kills Endurance, resets Endurance. I think I'm going to lose another Lightning Bolt here for a Submerge. Okay, I'm getting after this. Oh, I already hit Submit. Maybe I wanted the second Surgical because there is an argument to Surgicaling Swords to Plowshares, and then they have significantly fewer outs to Murktide Regent, on top of just making sure you don't lose to Uro. I'm going to keep this land go from me. Probably fetch my Steam Vents in the end step if they don't do anything else. If they don't do anything, I need to Lightning Bolt. I'm not going to Pyroblast a Ponder. I'm not that kind of deck. Or at least not in this position. Come on, Vicious Bauble. Oh my god, we did it! Get my Volcanic Island. Vicious Bauble. Bauble you. What did you keep with that Ponder? Swords to Plowshares. Okay. Predict naming Swords to Plowshares. Okay. 2 cards off of that. That was nice. Found a Wasteland. All right. All right. Let's make this thing happen. Draw for Bauble here. Got a lot of game left to play, but this feels like a really good start. Thanks, Mistress Bauble. I needed you to show up. Oh, you are a Wasteland deck. Oh, please fucking Wasteland me. Oh my god. You degenerate. Welcome to the Thunderdome. You adopted this world. I was born to it. You got a Scalding Tarn, sure. Snapcaster is pretty cool. I might Pyroblast a Ponder this turn, if they have one. Just going down to 0 lands and then like doing anything. Alright, Carpet of Flowers, bummer. That's a good one. That recoups these lands pretty well. Are we casting Endurance right now? Oh, Life from Loam. Shit. Alright, I was talking a lot of shit, but this Life from the Loam Carpet combo is very good. Alright, I'm going to start sending damage upstairs. I'm going to have to Price of Progress them out. Oh, Merc. Change of plans. I'm going to leave Mishra's Bauble in the graveyard, because that is one of the weirder card types. Brainstorm. Maybe I'm supposed to Pyroblast that? I don't know. Teferi's in the deck. I have a hard time Pyroblasting anything that's not, like, killing me. Okay, they milled Loam on randomly on one of the Brainstorm cards. If you Brainstorm all 3 cards, put 2 back, then you can Loam. Alright. That's a good reason not to do it. Alright. That's back in my deck. I'm way behind on time, so I can't play to that. Blue, Wasteland. Pyroblast here, for sure. Zap that. Bluster Storm, okay. I can Pyroblast the Narset in play also. Prismatic Ending, right? Channeler. All right, well, Channeler, Expressive Iteration. Let's go. Put that in the top or in the graveyard? I'll graveyard that. Oh no. Well, I'll put Force Will in my hand. Channeler on the bottom, exile Ponder, because I can't play that usefully anyway. Yeah, missing on a castable spell there, or playable card was rough. It taps me out of Pyroblast for the turn, just missing on land there. Tough. Oh god, they're gonna get to Teferi me while my shields are down. I'm gonna let that resolve. I'd rather fight over that with Pyroblast in play. Like, take Veil of Summer out of the equation. They plus Teferi. It's a deal. Wasteland, then they can Loam and play Wasteland again. Oh yeah, I'm so fucked. I wonder how dedicated the Loam strat is in this deck. Because you all know me. If you watch my channel, you know that I'm all about Loam in fair blue decks. I know that a lot of builds are on significantly fewer. Like, there's just like one in the 60. And this is an 80 card deck, so they probably have more than that. I'm gonna Iteration. And this one Loam that they've had has been devastating throughout. EI to hand, Daze to the bottom, exile Mishra's Bauble, play Bauble, land, Pyroblast to Fairy. And Narset's annoying too, but I'm doing plenty with her in play. All right, you have a Pyroblast on top. I get to draw one card on their turn. Narset doesn't stop that. Okay, Murktide Regent, backed by Force of Will, is the entire game plan. They only have 7 cards in hand, don't worry. And they can Wasteland me this turn. Ooh, didn't play Wasteland. That's scary. Library. I can't afford to counter that because I just have to protect Murktide Regent with everything that I have. Didn't use Carpet, so their hand is all reactive cards. I could EI to try to flush out the Pyroblast. Let's go. Or, yeah, I am going to do that actually. Because this helps me find Surgical, which is my answer to Swords to Plowshares this game. I might force this, actually. Force this Pyroblast. Oh, it's Flusterstorm. That's way worse. Alright. Squeaky clean little Flusterstorm. Gross. Alright. White mana. Oh no. They're going to cast a dragon. Yeah, they are. Can't fight over that. Okay, starting next turn, not going to be able to do anything anymore, so Murktide Regent, now or never, big guy. Biggest possible. Force pitching Brainstorm. Get it in. If this doesn't work, we lose. 8/8 creature, go. Burrow, okay, yep, here's this jerk. This can make Murktide a lot worse. Get multiple land drops per turn, can waste me off of all mana in short order with the Loam. Yeah, I should have had both Surgicals in. I did see Loam game 2 and Timeless Dragon, and like exiling Swords to Plowshares gives me so many more options. But they also have Pyroblast. Yeah, snap Pyroblast, now we lose. Okay, I'm not going to make them keep doing this. Thoroughly outmuscled by this deck. Oh, wait! I conceded! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I guess I could have played another turn or two to the cheese price of progress. Yeah, I forgot about that, but if they just like Wasteland me twice, that's not an out anymore. Okay, this deck. In the Grixis matchup, or like when our engines were firing, this felt really good. Though in like Reanimator, it felt like we were lacking the ability to close, which I did miss. That game went on for a very long time, and I felt like I was in control of it for most of it, and then they just snuck in over like a multi-turn line. They just like hardcast Grief, snuck an Archon through Counterbalance, attacked twice with Archon to clear all my creatures. Yeah, that one was really close, and I wish I had a little more closing power. In that matchup, that last one specifically, that 5-color Yorion deck, or 4-color, I don't remember how many colors we saw. I don't think we saw black. The 4-color Yorion deck, a card like Submerge, which I think is phenomenal in regular Delver, felt pretty suboptimal here, because like Submerge, when you have a Dragon's Rage Channeler active or a Delver flipped, you get to kind of add Lightning Bolt to all of your spells. Like Daze your 3-drop and you take 3. Lightning Bolt your Ice Fang Coatl or Baleful Strix and you take 3. Force of Will your spell and you take 3. Submerge your creature and you take 3. Like you can't take 3 that many times in a normal game of Magic. This deck with just the 1 creature down low and the 1 creature up high, kind of like you don't get a whole lot of and you take 3 moments. Like the whole tempo side of the Izzet Delver deck isn't really there by design. But we did get the games where we had 1 or 2 Dragon's Rage Channelers on turn 1 that didn't get answered. We won those games, and that is the entire Izzet Delver game plan. I know I was really excited about this list at the beginning, and this list will chew up the type of decks that I like to play, like those really slow, grindy blue soup decks. But I will say, I think the appeal of Izzet Delver, the traditional archetype, is that it can do both. It's like a lady in the streets, freak in the sheets kind of deck, where sometimes your opponent has to spew early resources so they don't die to your 3-power 1-drops. And then you come in mid-game with the Expressive Iteration into Murktide, and they're huffing and puffing out of gas by then. This deck just sort of lets them gas up. And rather than try to run your opponent out of gas, this deck is just trying to have more gas at all times, like all the 2-mana draw 2s. And depending on if your cards line up correctly or what your opponent is doing, having more cards than them might not necessarily matter if the cards they have are important. Like that game just in the last round where they resolved Endurance and they just rode that thing to victory, and none of my cards lined up against it. That was a pretty big tell. And after losing to that in game 2, I brought in Submerge for game 3. But if I'm not pushing for significant damage, Submerge is bad. It's like, I don't lose DRC this turn, but it is a 1/1, and you're about to draw and replay your Endurance next turn. And maybe you just don't even replay it. You just hold it until I get Delirium again, if you have life points to work with. I will conclude by saying I see the appeal of this deck, and I think it's very cleverly built in a world where all you need to do is grind and have more cards than your opponent. We didn't play any Delver Mirrors. I don't know how those look. And on paper, they look horrendous for the traditional Delver player. But against the format at large, believe it or not, outside of showcase challenges, there are decks other than Delver. And losing the ability to just gas pedal and Delver Wasteland daze you straight out, losing that ability kind of sucks. Lightning Bolt is a lot worse when you have fewer ways to deal 3 in the early game. Like there were not a lot of mid-game situations where 2 bolts is lethal, which is a very common play pattern in regular Delver. I'm going to conclude that this is a really cool thought experiment. And if you're expecting only Delver Mirrors or enough Delver Mirrors that have it being massively favored in them will lead to a successful tournament, this is a really cool place to be. I would not want to play this just at FNM. This is a really specialized thing that is built for one target S tier metagame and not really built to beat all the things that Legacy can offer. The deck that's built to beat all the things that Legacy can offer is regular Izzet Delver. Glad I got to play this one. Francis York Morgan, thank you for the open invitation to play this. Bullwinkkle, thank you for your thoughts and your list. Thank you for your contributions to Legacy and Magic theory in general. I always love a good left field concept idea. And this one has merits. It's also not a strict upgrade, which is great. That's how Magic should be. There should never be one thing that is unbeatable. There should be good ideas, and metagames should move and breathe. And I like that this is an angle that exists in that metagame now. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. I'm out.